I want to talk to you today about things you should buy in bulk. If you're going to be doing a lot of work in your shop and playing with cars and whatnot, you'll find yourself running into things that you need all the time. And if you end up buying it onesie twosie, you waste money and you waste time. I'm going to start with safety gear, earmuffs, goggles. Buy that stuff in bulk. If you have to go hunting for it, you're not going to use it. You're going to say, oh, forget about it this time. I'll be okay. And then you'll end up in the emergency room getting metal removed from your eye. Ask me how I know. So buy your safety gear in bulk. Keep it on hand, scatter it all over the place. Make sure you have it. A second thing, a quick tip here, emery cloth. A lot of people will go and buy sandpaper in the packages and whatnot, and they're always short on it. This is some 320 grit emery cloth I bought 20 years ago. I've still got probably a third of the roll left. You find yourself using it all the time. I just got to clean this one piece up real quick. I could go get sandpaper, but I've got this on hand. I can tear off a chunk of this and clean stuff up real quick. I've used it to polish, the main journals on a crank. You just take it and wrap it around the crank, and then get some oil in there and take a cargo strap and just work it, and you can polish your main journals with it. I've used it to inside of if I have something I need to clean the inside out of, I'll take this and wrap it around a drill bit and duct tape, a little bit of duct tape on the end to hold it. Just wrap it around several wraps and put it inside whatever hole you're trying to clean out on a drill, and it cleans it out. Emery cloth, just 320 is about the perfect, I think, perfect grit for all-around shop use. Just get you a spool of emery cloth and keep it where you're going to use it for years and years and years. Cut off wheels and flap wheels, and even to a certain extent grinding wheels. I don't go through grinding wheels as much. In places where I probably should use a grinding wheel, I tend to use flap wheels. I like flap wheels better. Don't ask me why, I don't know. But yeah, I buy these I like buying these in 20 packs, and I end up doing it all the time. These I don't use as much. If I buy a 10 pack of these, it'll last me a year. I don't do a ton of metal work, but I do enough to where buying them in bulk makes a difference. PB blaster. If I buy one can, I usually buy 4 cans because I go through it. I use it here on the work table if I've got something rusty to get loose. I use it if I'm drilling as a drill lubricant. I use it to clean parts. You'd be amazed how well PB blaster works for scrubbing parts. Yeah, if you use WD-40 or if you use Croil or stuff like that, yeah, if you buy 1 can, buy 4. Wire brushes. Harbor Freight sells these in a packet, cheap. They're garbage as far as being strong. You're going to tear them up. They're not going to last long. But you buy them in bulk, you don't care. Razor blades. Somewhere I've got a big box of this style of razor blade. I usually keep a couple on the handle of this tool. I don't have any. This is a windshield scraper for scraping decals off windows. I used it to scrape all the tint off Way Cool Jr.'s windows a week or so ago. That's the last razor blade I have like that, and it's driving me nuts knowing that I have a big box somewhere and I can't find them. But I always buy the 6-inch long box with 100 razor blades in it. Man, you can buy one of those and it'll last you most of your, it depends on how often you use razor blades. It'll last me a decade, 2. I think I have the current box that I'm looking for is about half full, and I've had it for about a decade. Can't find them, so I just keep reusing the same old razor blades. They're getting worse and worse. Don't do that. Get new razor blades. So next time I'm at the store, I'm going to look for a big old box of razor blades and throw it in here. If you have a truck, buy lug nuts in bunches, or a race car. If you have special race car lug nuts on your race car, buy a bunch of extra lug nuts because you'll tear them up taking the wheels on and off all the time. Our Lemon's car that we campaign, we keep a pile of lug nuts on hand. We've had to throw them out at the racetrack. Oh, we went to pull this one lug nut off and it's buggered up a little bit, and just pitch it in the trash, get another one. If you're going to be taking lug nuts on and off a lot, know what size you need and buy them in bulk. When I buy filters for my vehicles, I buy a handful at a time, 3 or 4 or 5. That way all I need is the oil. I usually have a fair amount of oil that I keep in the cabinet. Oil goes bad, so you don't want to stock up on it too much, but the filters don't go bad. You can set them on the shelf and use them in a year or two, and it's not going to hurt them. So I have a stock of filters, and I just have a rotating stock of oil that I keep. Here's one people don't think of: drill bits. Now, I've got a nice big drill index somewhere. Always put away your tools, that way you know where to find them. Hey, guess what I didn't do? So, you buy a nice big drill index like this, and it's wonderful. I love having all these drill bits on hand, but you have to realize drill bits are consumable. You're gonna break them, they're gonna get dull, they're gonna get chipped, and then you're left trying to find a drill bit. So what I did was, I bought this drill index. I've got another one out in the garage that I bought years and years ago when I was a technician. I love these drill indexes, they're handy, but I'm always breaking drill bits. When I go to replace drill bits now, if it's a size I don't have in stock, I get on Amazon, of course, because they sell bulk stuff cheap, and I just get a packet of drill bits. And that way, if I break one, I just come in here and get one. And this is something I learned in the military. I worked in an aerospace ground equipment shop, and our drill indexes always had broken, missing drill bits. You go to check it out, and there'd be a note: oh, it's got a missing drill bit, it's got a broken drill bit. I went down to the sheet metal shop, and their drill indexes, they use drills more than we do, and their drill indexes are always full. And I found out they keep their drill bits on their bench stock, basically a consumable stock that they have in their shop. And so whenever they break a drill bit out of their drill index, they just go get another one out of their bench stock and throw the spare into the drill index. When you have to replace a drill bit, hop on Amazon, buy a set in bulk. You won't regret it. Zip ties are kind of like cans of PB Blaster. If I'm going to buy one pack, I'm going to buy 4 packs. Yes, they're 100 to a pack. I'll go through that 100. Rivets, another thing you should be buying in bulk. You can buy like 10 packs, 20 packs of rivets, whatever. That's kind of a waste. Then next time you need rivets for a project, you don't have any, buy a couple different sizes and keep them in stock, and have a decent rivet gun to go with them, and you'll find that they're worth it. The other thing about rivets, and this is something I didn't know until later on, get the backing washers for them. Without the backing washers, they don't grip worth a darn. With the backing washers, they're appropriate size, they grab real well. Rivets all of a sudden become very strong when used with the appropriate backing washers. Buy them in bulk. I think this is 450 of these in this box. I've got a partial box. I went to Fastenal and said, hey, what do you got? I need rivets, and yeah, they work. If you're dealing rib nuts, you can get a small pack of rib nuts like this for not too expensive. But why do that when you can go on Amazon and buy a whole bunch of them dirt cheap? Get the dirt cheap Amazon ones. Not that I'm advertising Amazon here, but they sell bulk and they sell it cheap. Electrical wire. You're always going to need it. Keep a good stock of red and black on hand. This is actually wire that I bought for a project, and so it's earmarked for something, and it's the lengths that I need for that project. But over there on the shelf, I've got even more wire in bulk lengths. Buy your wire in bulk, because you'll eventually at some point need more of it, and you want to just be able to walk over and find it. In that same vein, if you're walking through the junkyard and you see a BMW X3, grab some of that bulk cable out of it, this big stuff. You'll have it on hand when you need it. Trust me, I don't pass those up if I can find them. Which brings us to electrical work. Oh, I need to sort this stuff out and make it look nice. If you're going to do any kind of electrical work, there's an assortment of stuff you need to buy in bulk. Especially these little heat shrink butt connectors. Some guys hate these. They want to, do a proper splice and solder it and whole 9 yards and heat shrink wrap it. I was a technician. We had these, Nissan specified these for a recall we had. Factory approved. They're awesome. I've never had one go bad. Once you crimp it in place and heat shrink it, if you've got a good connection, you did a tug test and it didn't fall apart, once you heat shrink it, it's a permanent part of the wiring harness, and it'll flow electricity every bit as good as if you solder it. All these people saying, oh, you're going to lose some millivolts, it's going to throw the computer off. No, it's not. That computer measures in the tenths of volts, maybe in the hundreds, but having a a heat shrink butt splice in place of solder is not gonna make a difference. Your factory connections aren't soldered, they're crimped. So heat shrink butt connectors, I've got pink, I've got the yellow ones, I've got the blue ones. If you're on a budget and you want to start out, I would get the red ones first, then I'd get the yellows, and there's some intermediate, oh, those aren't butt splices, interesting. But there are some intermediate wires that you'll need the blue ones for. Apparently I don't have blue ones. I thought I did. I guess I've got them in this kit. Or you can just buy one of these kits. Yeah, I'd probably do that to start out with and then refill this kit with these. So, along with that, you'll want ring terminals. I buy them in bulk because, you know what, I can't keep enough of them on hand. And along with that comes heat shrink. There's going to be stuff you're going to need to heat shrink, especially battery cables. This stuff is sold on Amazon, cheap. You can buy one of these. It'll last you for a few years, unless you're doing wiring every week. Buy it in bulk. Fuses. I keep running out of 20 amp fuses, so I bought one of these bulk kits. I've probably got a gazillion of the 5 amp fuses. I'm just starting to work my way down on those. But now I got a whole kit. So I showed these a minute ago in passing. These are heat shrink spade connectors, the female ends. Handy to have a bunch of these on hand. I'm always running short on these, so yeah, I have some of these on hand. I've got some of these old style that don't have the heat shrink. I'm not real crazy about these, but these are kind of unique. These are jumpers. You can see they've got the female end, but then a little jumper on the side. I bought these in bulk years ago. I'll probably never use all these, but it's handy to have them when I need them, and they were cheap buying them in bulk as opposed to one at a time. If you do a lot of custom wiring stuff, you'll want some fuse holders. You want some of these little toggle switches, panel mount toggle switches. Light bulbs aren't a bad idea. I got a case of these LED light bulbs a while back. Just a bulk quantity of them, so I can drop it in place of dash, under dash lights on the Chevy trucks. All right, so this is my glorious pile of stuff. You may recognize some of this from Harbor Freight. Cotter pins. Man, this cotter pin kit that Harbor Freight has, I've used this on my lawnmowers, I've used it on my cars, I've used it on a lot of things. It's worth buying these in bulk. E-clips, a little less so, but when you need them, they're handy to have. If you're going to run a lot of wires and you need some Adele clamps, buy them in bulk. Don't buy them one at a time. O-rings. I got a big O-ring kit there. Handy as can be. Linch pins, less so. I don't really need those, but I needed a couple of them, and I saw the assortment, and I figured, you know what, I might as well buy the whole kit and have them on hand. Trash bags, of course. Engines. You should buy engines in bulk. Absolutely. Well, maybe not. Maybe that's just me. But anyways, thanks for watching, and have a great day.